Welcome. I'm Shayla King, and I help leaders work less, make more, and design a life that they love. Prior to being an executive coach, I was a working mom climbing the corporate ladder and struggling to balance it all. I had a major health scare, a divorce, and I vowed to find a way to balance being a great mom, the career aspirations that I had, and to be happy and healthy at the same time. So, to do so, I obsessively studied two things. One, what makes some people more successful than others? And two, what makes some people so much happier than others? So I tested everything that I learned. Some of it worked, some of it didn't. And over time, it started clicking and the results kept coming. I worked less, I kept getting promoted. I made it from middle management to the C suite before I was 40. I lost 30 pounds and got rid of the inflammation that was part of my autoimmune diseases. I fell in love and got married to my now husband. And I lost the mom guilt and the overwhelm while continuing to remain very close to my children. At the end of this, when everything was clicking and I was evolving my thoughts, evolving my life, and evolving my happiness, I was bursting with just thinking, I've got to share this with others. And so I actually left corporate America at the top of my game because I wanted to share it with you. So, what I do now is I am a full time executive life coach. I do year-long transformations where I help leaders improve their work life and their home life. And through one-on-one weekly coaching, we work on mindset and skill set tricks and tips that will literally transform you over that 1 year period. It will help with your mindset, it will help with emotional strength, and you'll get all the results you've ever hoped for and more. Playing at a new level and figuring it out in decades instead of days. That's what I work on with my clients. So today, what we're doing is we're giving you a little taste of one of the exercises that we work on, and it's reflection. Reflection is a process that all of the most successful people know well. Instead of just accomplishing something amazing, we must know what helped us get there. What were the contributing factors that made us successful so that we can rinse and repeat? What are the things that kept us from being successful? And how can we make sure we proactively eliminate those barriers in the future? So that's what we're going to get into today. You ready? Grab your pen and paper, grab your laptop, however you take notes, and we're going to jump in. The very first thing that we're going to do is a brain dump exercise. What these are is it's free flowing ideas and thought, no editing needed. It doesn't even need to make sense. It can be bullets, it can be run on sentences. Just throw out whatever you think of when these prompts come. Okay? The first one that we have is going to be, what were you most proud of this year? So go ahead and fill that out. You can feel free to press pause to take even more time on this exercise. I'll move through it pretty quickly just so you can understand what's coming next. But I want you to be able to pause and take as long as you want to fill in these sections, or you can come back to it afterwards and do this in a deeper and more reflective way. The second question you're going to answer is, what were your biggest regrets? The third question, I felt most alive when? I felt the happiest when. So think about specific memories or times throughout the year when you were the happiest. And finally, I loved being surrounded by whom? So who in your life did you just love those moments when they were close and around and you loved spending time with them? Okay, so why is reflection so important in the first place? Let me tell you a story about a story, as my dad would say. So there was a pantyhose factory in the 90s, And the management team was looking at their numbers and they couldn't believe their growth. They started by a 20% growth that turned into a 40% growth that turned into 100% year over year growth. And they were just exceeding all of their expectations and were so excited about it, but they immediately had a new big problem. Inventory. How are they going to keep up with this growing demand that they weren't expecting? So they put in all their time and energy into fixing the inventory problem. They started at building a brand new site to be able to double the amount of manufacturing they could do in-house. They created contract agreements with contract manufacturers that could help produce for them, all so they could keep up with this demand. Well, as soon as that new factory opened, all of their revenue sales started tanking and went back lower than where they were when they started this process. And they sat around and goes, oh my God, what happened? Here's what they found out. They found out that their client bought their pantyhose. They took them home. They got a run in them. They went back to the store. They grabbed another pair, thinking it was an accident, user error. I had a bad nail, whatever it was. Then they wear the second pair, and guess what? The second pair also got a run in it right away. So now they said, forget this brand, never using them again. So the entire time, instead of stopping and reflecting on why the growth happened in the first place, they immediately went into solutioning for that growth, not realizing they actually had a quality problem, not a growth problem. So just like this business in life, we want to make sure that we slow down and reflect and learn from our history. So what we're going to do today is we're going to spend some time thinking about 2023. And just like that example, not only what did we accomplish, but we're going to think about what were the enablers that helped us get there. So how did we get there? Not just what did we accomplish. And so we are going to go through the accomplishments and then our thoughts, our actions, and our relationships that helped us achieve it or hindered us from achieving what we wanted to. All right, so let's jump back into it. What I'm going to have you do now is write down your top 1 to 3 accomplishments this year in the workplace. So go ahead and take a moment and jot those down. Okay, now that you have those 3 down, what I want you to do is to think about it from someone else's point of view. So those are what you think are your top 3 accomplishments. Now I want you to be your boss. Write down what they think your top 3 accomplishments are this year. Notice if they're the same or if they're different. As we are actively working on our career and getting promoted and making more money, it is so important that we ask ourselves these types of questions from more than just our lens, especially from the stakeholders that are most involved in paying us and getting us promoted. Okay, now that you have your top 3 accomplishments written down from your angle and your boss's angle, we're going to go through the next section, which is your thoughts. Okay, so I want to start this section with a story. It was 1908, and Andrew Carnegie at the time was the richest man in the world from his steel business. He had a young reporter come interview him at his home, and he liked this fella so much that he let him stay with him for 2 weeks and kind of continued the conversation, continued the interview. At the end of the 2 weeks, he said, I have a proposition for you. I want you to interview the 500 most successful men in the world over the next 20 years of your life. I know these men. I will make the introductions. And what I want you to do is to learn from them and then synthesize all this information down boil it down into the key learnings and trends so that we can share it with the masses. So all the people can have access to the knowledge that will make some people so much more successful than others. By the way, during this time, I will pay you no salary. I will just cover your expenses. And at the end of it, I want you to concentrate it all into this book that we will share with the world. He started his stopwatch and gave the young man 60 seconds to decide. 28 seconds later, the man said yes. And he interviewed everybody and wrote one of the most fascinating books in the world. And it is called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. So after interviewing everyone, the one thing that came true as he talks to all of these famous leaders, we're talking about the Wright brothers, Rockefeller, Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, all of the biggest, most successful names in history at that time. And they said everything starts in the mind. It starts with our thoughts. If we can think it, then we can organize our thoughts into ideas and into plans. After we think and we organize into ideas and plans, then we can execute and make it a reality. So you have to first think it, and then you can make it true. Those words are still so true today. He sold millions and millions of copies. It is still in print today. And Napoleon Hill has been awarded as one of the most impactful people in human growth in the entire decade. So how does this relate to what we're talking about today? Well, everything that we're going to do in making our lives better and evolving it is all going to start back at our brain. It's crazy, but we actually have over 60 to 90,000 thoughts a day. That's 60 to 90,000 sentences going through our brains that we are telling ourselves. That means that we impact ourselves more than the rest of the world combined, right? And what's crazy is that we're normally on autopilot. We're on default mode. 90% of our thoughts are the exact same as they were yesterday. So if we have the ability to recognize those thoughts running through our head all day, which ones are helping us be successful that we want more of, which ones are hindering us that we can replace so that we can evolve to that next level, it's exactly what we want to do. So I work on this with my clients. We learn to slow down and examine our thoughts in our brain so that we can find those thoughts that serve us the best. And today you'll get a chance to try it out. So for your top 3 work accomplishments, going back to your spreadsheet, I want you to list the supporting thoughts and the supporting actions. Okay? So one example of the supporting thoughts and actions is in the workplace. If you think about, I got a new job. I can look at it 2 ways. This is a new job where I'm not familiar with the field or the industry or the actual specific job. They moved me over from a different department and it's all new to me. Okay? So I could think, I'm great at learning new things. I love being thrown in the deep end. I always figure it out. I'm a quick learner. I'll figure it out. Or I could think, oh my God, everything is so different. Everyone is so much smarter than me. This is going to be so hard. I'm so scared. I'm going to mess up and everyone's going to think I'm stupid. Right? So if I do that first part, then I think that I always figure it out. Then I'm going to have confidence. That confidence is going to make me resourceful. And my actions are going to be that I'm always going to try another way. If something doesn't work, I'm going to try something else. And in the end, I'm going to be successful. If I have the other thought about the job and I'm thinking that it's going to be so hard, everyone's smarter than me, they're going to find out I'm not supposed to be here, they're going to realize that I don't have what it takes, I'm going to look stupid and mess up, then I'm going to constantly be holding back in an area of fear. I want to do a good job, I'll try to learn, but I'm never going to be that bold. I'm not going to be that confident when I sell my ideas. I'm always going to be thinking in the back of my head that I'm not smart enough to learn all of this. And it's going at the end of the day to really lessen my results than the other thought. Not only is my results going to be less, but I am also going to have those who are around me, both my boss, my peers, my internal stakeholders, they're going to have less faith in me because I didn't show up as confident. That's the difference between the same circumstance of a new job and a new division, new function, but very different thoughts. So I want you to go through this worksheet now. And for those accomplishments that you named, I want you to think about what were your supporting thoughts that helped enable you to be successful? And then what were the actions that you did accordingly? Go ahead and take a moment to fill that out. And you can press pause if you want to take more time on this now. Otherwise, we will keep moving on and you can come back to it later. So finally, I told you I work with all of my clients on results plus relationships. That's really what is going to make sure that you're both successful and happy. And so what I want you to do here is to list those people that were key relationships that helped you excel this year. So write down who they were and what they helped with. And it could be literally functional knowledge. They could have been a business partner in what you did, or they could be part of your support system. So write down who those key relationships are and how they helped. Okay, so now we're going to do that exact same exercise, but you'll do this in your own time and you'll go through your top work opportunities. So misses, mistakes, opportunities, it doesn't matter what language you use. What's important is that you don't attach any shame or feeling bad about yourself related to this. The more we work on coaching, what I love is that we really build resiliency and emotional strength, which means I can come in with a much cleaner brain around thinking, no, all I'm trying to do is act like a third party, figure out what worked so I can do more of that, figure out what didn't work so I can do less of that. I'm not stopping and beating myself up about where I've made mistakes, where I didn't get things done that I wish I would have. There's no shame involved. I know I'm human. I have a human brain. I try hard and I don't always get it right. And that's fine. We take all that out of this and we just say, so what didn't work? Let's talk about how we can improve there. It really cleans up your thoughts in your brain so you can move faster. And that's what we want. We want to get your results in days instead of decades. All right. So go ahead and note that this is what you'll do afterwards is your top work opportunities. And then after your work opportunities, you'll move into your home. Home's going to look identical. Keep it simple, right? Doesn't have to be complicated to work. So for your home accomplishments, you're going to write down your same thing, your top 3. And then what you're going to do is ask this from another point of view. So that's what you thought your top 3 accomplishments were. Now I want you to ask what your spouse or your children think that they were. Okay. Go through those same thoughts. Which one served you? Which ones didn't? What action served you the best in this area? And then what relationships were key? And this could even be like a friend who gives you parenting advice was one of the key things that helped you in this area. All right. And then same thing, your top home opportunities. It's the exact same way. You'll take some time to fill that out. Now, what you've done is you've done all your thought downloads on those 4 questions, and you've done 4 of these worksheets on your top opportunities and accomplishments this year, both at work and at home. So what we're going to do now is take the learnings from all of those and boil it down into a 1-pager that we can use when we plan our next year. And this is part 1. So you can join us. We are going to be doing a part 2 where we will be doing a virtual vision boards and mimosas to help you visualize and achieve your best year yet this year. So you can join us for that. We'd love to have you. And this is the 1-pager that you're going to use to get ready for it. Sort of everything you've learned today, what do you want to start doing? What do you want to stop doing? What do you want to continue doing? And then what is your why? And so when we talk about your why, what I want you to do is to actually come up with why are you evolving? Why is this important to you? And if you ask yourself why 5 times, you can usually get to the bottom of it. And then I want you to put all of your answers. So for instance, part of my why on why I want to have this business is because it hurts my heart when I see people not living their full potential. When I see people who have so much in them, but they're settling for a good enough life because they're taught to feel grateful for something smaller. That just breaks my heart. That's part of my why. Another part of my why is because I want to show people what's possible. I think that representation matters, and being able to see women and single moms being able to make it to the top in corporate, being able to run their own businesses, being able to go so much further than they ever thought they could. I started as an IHOP waitress, and I'm just a girl from Kansas, no fancy degree, no connections. And I want people to know that if I can do it, they can do it. It's a big part of why I do what I do. Part of what I do is I was the first ever breadwinner in my family. And I want to make a lot of money and show people that nothing goes wrong when women make a lot of money. That's part of my why. Part of my why of becoming an entrepreneur is also because it allows me flexibility to spend more time with my kids. And that is part of my why. Part of my why is because I love coaching other people to work less, make more, and just find a life they love. It's beyond fulfilling for me. Part of my why is because I'm obsessed with personal development and I love growing myself, and coaching others gives me a chance to constantly be learning and growing and attending self-development workshops so that I can evolve myself. Right? So you're going to write the list of all of your reasons on why you want to get to the next level and you want to evolve yourself or your relationships. And as you write that, I want you to have several things. Because on those darn days that are hard, and we all have them, we can say, yeah, but to one or two of those. We can actually talk ourselves out of why, that freedom of time really doesn't matter, or the representation isn't worth it, whatever it is. But when you see that full list, you're like, yes, that is why. Today sucks. Today's going to be hard, but I'm continuing because I'm helping other people and they are waiting on me. Each time I work with somebody, I make their life better. I help role model for other people what's possible. I help my company become greater. I love adding value in this way. I love learning this or that, right? So make a huge, beautiful list. You'll pull this out throughout the year whenever you need it on a hard day. And this is the one pager that you're going to bring with you to the vision session. So that concludes the reflection piece. And remember, the most successful people in the world all take time for reflection regularly. End of year is just a perfect opportunity to be able to think back through the last 12 months and think about what truly works, and then pull in what you want moving forward for what worked, what you want to start doing, stop doing, and continue doing in the new year, so that next year can be your most epic year ever. Again, I'm Shayla King. I appreciate you being here with me today. And if you want to work more with me, I do the full year program where we will completely evolve your life and transform it in just 12 months, and through weekly one-on-one coaching. You can actually sign up for a free consult. I'll talk you through the process, learn more about you and what you're looking for, and we can decide if it is a fit. And then check out my website, shaylaking.com. We will be launching a new executive mindset course in January, and we have our In the Overwhelm signature program that will be coming out in late Q1. So you can get on the wait list for both of those and then get a ton of free content on the blog and in the newsletter. So thanks for joining us today. I hope you have an amazing day and an epic year. Bye, friends. Let's evolve together.